Trucking, got my chips cashed in. Keep trucking like the doodah man. Together, more or less in line. Just keep trucking on.
Arrows of neon and flashing marquees out on Main Street. Chicago, New York, Detroit, and it's all on the same street. A typical city involved in a typical daydream. Hang it up and see what tomorrow brings.
Dallas got a soft machine. Houston, too close to New Orleans. New York got the ways and means and just won't let you be.
Most of the cats that you meet on the street speak of true love. Most of the time they're sitting and crying at home. One of these days they know they gotta get going. Out of the door and down to the street all alone.
Trucking like a doodah man once told me you got to pay your hand. Sometimes the cards ain't worth a dime if you don't lay them down. Sometimes the light's all shining on me. Other times I can barely see. Lately it occurs to me, what a long, strange trip it's been.
What in the world ever became of Sweet Jane? She lost her sparkle, you know she isn't the same. Living on Reds, vitamin C and cocaine. All a friend can say is ain't it a shame.
Trucking up the Buffalo, been thinking you got to mellow slow. It takes time to pick a place to go and just keep trucking on.
Sitting and staring out of the hotel window. Got a tip, they're gonna kick the door in again. I'd like to get some sleep before I travel, but if you got a warrant, I guess you're gonna come in.
Busted down on Bourbon Street, set up like a bowling pin. Knocked down, it gets to wearing thin. It just won't let you be.
You're sick of hanging around, you like to travel. Get tired of traveling, you wanna settle down. I guess I can't revoke your soul for trying. Get out of the door, light out and look all around.
Sometimes the light's all shining on me. Other times I can barely see. Lately it occurs to me, what a long, strange trip it's been. Trucking, I'm going home. Whoa, whoa, baby, back where I belong. Back home, sit down and patch my bones and get back trucking. Oh, 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 oh.
Thank you. These two bikers walk into a bar.
Can't
And
hear
there's not a
you.
biker there, and the bartender says, hey, we
Take
don't
the
go for your...
fucking helmet off.
What?
I can't hear you. Take the
I
fucking helmet
can't hear you,
off.
man. You gotta heckle me louder.
What? Are you deaf?
I can't hear it. I can't even see you now. I'm all fogged up.
You're all fucked
Wait a
up.
minute.
You're all fucked up. Take the helmet off.
Thank God for that. Yeah, well, hang on. It'll be a law you have to wear one of these on stage soon, too. Pete Wilson has pissed a lot of people off. And, so I had to go out and buy one of these little beauties here. Expensive. And it's made so well that if I ever actually do get into an accident, my entire head will just pop off like a Ken doll, go flying through space. And my brain will be alive for about 5 seconds, so I'll get that one last view of the Hollywood sign as I go by. It'll land in some friend's hands out in front of the Chinese theater. Oh, shit, isn't that Rick? Nah, Rick was taller. Oh yeah.
Hey, my drink.
Yeah, I ride a Harley Davidson. I ride a Harley because my penis is approximately this big, but it's this wide around. A horrible hockey accident. Ooh, and Overton's heading for the box. Bob, that's gotta hurt. I don't care where you're from. No. I ride a Harley because I quit doing drugs. So now I've got all this extra money lying around. Whoa, where did that come from? And I look at it this way. I spend as much money on the bike as I used to spend on drugs. I meet about as many women. But at least when I get off, I'm somewhere else.
For the last 6 years, AmJam Tattoo Expo has been one of the biggest events on the tattoo calendar. Located in Schenectady, which is upstate New York, the Tattoo Expo draws thousands of multicolored people from all over the country for their 2-day show.
You can enter every category.
The folks who dreamed up this event were looking for something different for bikers to do in the dead of winter in this frozen part of the country. Now AmJam is one of the top shows in the U.S. There were more than 100 artists and vendors in attendance. With some of the best tattooists in the business, you can bet there was some exotic work going down. The constant drone of ink and irons didn't stop the whole weekend. Some of these folks are pretty hardcore. There was major competition at the tattoo contest. It took half the day for the judges, all tattooists, to evaluate all the categories. Every style of work was displayed, from the modern to the traditional.
Now turn around and face the audience.
Today, tattoos are being recognized as fine art, and the tattooists are finally getting the credit they deserve. Enthusiasts collect tattoo artists' work just like any other art form. This show is especially noted for the high caliber of the artists on hand, as well as the fine tattoos in the contest. If you find yourself freezing your butt off in this part of the country next January, cruise on up to Schenectady and warm up to some hot tattoos at Tattoo Expo.
We sat down with Ironman Ed Kretz shortly after his 80th birthday.
Everyone wants to know how you got the name Iron Man.
I was a truck driver. I drove a 22-wheel diesel truck, 6-wheel trailer, and 6-wheel truck, and hauling hay out of Imperial Valley. I used to make a trip a day out of Imperial Valley with hay, come up, unload it, maybe load a load of lumber and take it back, and the next day I'd come back with another load of hay, and we loaded it all by hand. Just with a bale, with the 2 hooks and the bales, and you just load them by hand, and I was really strong, and that's why that's probably what made me an Ironman, really, but I got the name at Laconia because I lost a footboard on my motor after about 60 miles or 70 miles. I had a steel shoe on, and I put the steel shoe up on the primary drive, and it kept falling off, sliding off, but I had to hold out so tight. I had 3 layers of blister on my hands, and going down the straightaway, I'd bite them off, the skin coming through my fingers, but I never slowed up. I kept going just as fast.
Do you remember who first called you Iron Man? You know who the journalist was, or?
I think it was Fritzie Bear. He was working for the factory at that time. He was a factory Indian dealer in the factory.
Do you remember your first race, the first time you get out there in competition?
Yeah, I was at Ascot on the old Valley Boulevard there. It was a 5/8 mile paved track, but they went down the straightaway and off the thing up over the mountains. They called it the Targo Florio. Well, I'd rode a Harley over there. I took the saddlebags off, took the headlights off, and then I rode it that way. And I went out and I got second place on that first race after I'd had a flat tire. I was more time getting into the pits than I was changing the tire. 43 seconds they changed that wheel for me. But I was probably a minute and a half getting on and down there that I lost. But I got second place to Bird McKinney that year. Clymer saw me going so good on the Harley. He called the factory in Alzina in Oakland and says, I got a guy that's really a racer, so I'd like to get an Indian. Well, the factory sent me an Indian back out to Clymer's. This was in 35 or 36.
How many times did you race in Daytona? You remember?
Oh, at least 17 times. The first year, they started the race way late. They got it as the tide was clear out, and the tide got in before the race was finished. I had to finish in the deep sand because the starting flag was out in the water, and I'm going in the deep sand when I finished the race. And I think they flagged the race off after that because everybody was going in the water. They just waited. Of course, next year they started it when the tide was halfway out, so it had time to go out 3 hours and back 3 hours, so we got the race in all right. It really wasn't planned too well. They didn't do too much about planning it, but the race itself was good. The back stretch they'd talked about, it was real rough, but it had 3 turns in it, S-turns, and I never shut off. I went through all of them turns, wide open, probably 110 miles an hour, maybe. Maybe it was 105 miles at that time, but over 100 miles an hour.
Didn't we see you on old number 38 out there in Daytona this last year for the 50th anniversary?
Yes, I make laps just about every year. I take that down there and make a few laps. And Ed Youngblood, he knew I was going to get going like hell, so they had me follow the pickup. Anyway, I run wide open when I go down there. And one time I run about 120 miles an hour down the backstretch with it. Not this year because they made me follow the pickup.
Where is the old number 38 now?
It's in the AMA Museum, and it's just out of Columbus, Ohio. It's in Westerville, but it's just out of Columbus there. I let them have it for a year, just on a loan basis. The guy said it's right by his window so he can take good care of it and watch it, and I'm pretty particular about that motorcycle because it's my pride and joy, really.
It was either that, get the Harley, or buy one of those new Kawasaki 9,000cc organ donors for $92. The only bike that comes with a seat belt, it's so fast, It kills you the instant you're off the lot. It's like, here's the keys. Ever had a Ninja before? No, sir. Had a little scooter in high school. Same thing. Pow! He's instantly dead. They put a bungee cord on the back of the bike, bring him back in the lot, and sell it to the next guy. Didn't even care. They named it the Ninja. The Ninja? Let's look it up together. Ninja. Oh, it's an assassin. That's a great name for a bike. Mom, can I buy the assassin death bike? All righty. That's stupid. That's like naming a Jeep a Samurai. The only Jeep that comes with flip-o-matic suspension. Hey, I'm still in my driveway. Whammity bang, bang, bada boom, boom.
The 1991 EasyRiders Rodeo Tour, the best damn rodeo season since they began in 1987. Prize money, competition, and faithful followers have increased tremendously in the past 4 years. Here's our best video action showing the fun and spirit of these sometimes crazed rodeo riders. You can check out the back pages of EasyRiders, In the Wind, Tattoo, or Biker magazines for the new 1992 EasyRiders Rodeo schedule. There's probably going to be one nearby. See you there.
Now here's one of our viewers to tell us a story about his ride.
Back in 1981, I was in a pretty bad accident. I ended up breaking my lower back in 2 places and broke my neck. I was incapacitated for almost a year and a half without riding, without walking, without doing anything. I went through a lot of rehabilitation. I didn't think I was going to be able to walk, ride, or anything. At that time, I decided that, you know, if I could ride again, that I was going to have to ride something that was easy on my back. So that was when I decided to switch from the hardtail frame over to the swing arm. The frame and everything, like I say, is 63. It's all original paint's on it, Harley-Davidson factory paint. The only modifications that I actually did to the frame was chrome the swing arm. As far as everything else, the motor is a 1942. There was, 5% of motorcycles that were made back in the 40s that were made for personal use, that weren't shipped off to the military. This one is an E-motor. It was one of the 5% that didn't go Army issue. It's a 61 cubic inch, which on the knuckles, they had the 61s and the 74s. The 74s they had more trouble out of. The 61s were just dependable. You start them, they go. The bottom end hasn't been apart. You know, I've done top end on it twice. The bottom end is holding together just fine. A lot of people are amazed by it, but for a 1942 being 50 years old with a magneto, I can leave it sit for a month and come out and pull a choke and kick it one time and it's ready to go. I did change the carburetor on it. I took the linkard off of it because it was so hard starting with the magneto. I switched over to a 40 millimeter Mikuni, and I jetted it down so that it wouldn't bog and give it too much gas. With the transmission being a 1942, it was originally set up for the tank shift. When I switched it over to 63 frame and everything, with the paint job and everything being on it, I didn't want to save the other tanks, so it was either put a ratchet top on the transmission or stick with the original search and destroy. Everyone that I talked to told me that you couldn't put a foot shift on this style transmission. Well, I was hard-headed, and I decided that that's what I wanted instead of switching the tops. So what I did was I put the foot shift on it and had a rod made to run back to it with swivels on it so that it would work. And occasionally, you know, if you get about half hammered, you might miss a few gears, but you never have to worry about somebody stealing it because they don't know how to shift it. It shifts exactly opposite from any FLH. It one back and the rest of the gears are straight forward. The primary was all original Harley Davidson. I just took and sent it all out and had it chromed instead of buying aftermarket parts. So I tried to stay with, you know, as much original Harley parts as I could. Just about everything on it is all original Harley Davidson. It's just been re-chromed. I went with the original 2-into-1 with the fishtail. I kept the gangster white walls on it, you know, trying to stay with the nostalgia look on the wheels and tires of the bike. You know, everything looked good, but I didn't get the performance out of, you know, the old Goodyear white wall tires. I switched over to these Continentals, which they handle great. They get great wear out of them, rain or dry weather. It's as close to being original as I could get it, and that was my major concern, is having something that looked original, you know. A little snazzy chrome here and there, but nothing gaudy.
Howdy folks, here we go with the latest Rips run. It's going to cover a lot of territory. I hope you like it. I'm out of here. Look for me all over America.
fine one to talk. I wrecked my Hyundai. Yeah, well, serves me right. Got hurt because they give you that little shitty Hyundai airbag in the steering wheel. You know, the kind you have to inflate manually when you see the accident coming. Little tube sticking out of the middle of the wheel. Everything goes into slow motion. You just never get it blown up all the way in time is the problem. So all that happens is when you impact, it just forces the air back into you again. Cop comes over. Are you all right, Mr. Overton? Well, leaving the scene of an accident, huh? Well, gonna have to put that down on the ticket. I guess the only good thing about wrecking a Hyundai is you don't need jaws of life to get out. It's like Jiffy Pop. You just punch your way out of the damn thing. Let me out of this piece of shit like a little baby bird coming out. Rip your legs out the bottom, walk around like Fred Flintstone, look for the tow truck, you know? Yeah, fuck the tow truck. I'll hacky sack the bastard back to the garage.
We got a flash! Good night, we love every third one of you!
When you grow up and you want to start a band, naturally, obviously the reason you get in is for the attention from a girl starting out. You don't admit that yourself, but then you get into this thing where if you really love music, when you get out of high school, you keep doing it, and the ones who did it for the attention of the girls go get a job somewhere. Mm-hmm. And
because they wind up with a girl and have to get a job.
But there's something that's always in the back of your mind is you always want to think that maybe other bands would like your band. You know, we've won a lot of these CMA awards or whatever kind of awards, but man, there's nothing as gratifying as having somebody like a Billy Gibbons.
Leonard Skinner, I hear Gary Rosington.
Yeah.
I mean, he's never, but we've heard some reliable sources. He's into the band.
Corky Lane comes to study.
Corky Lane from Mountain.
Hank Jr.'s at the top of that list.
Hank took real good care of us.
In 1960-something, my grandma bought this farm, and she had this house on it. And we were just starting to play music, and she didn't want to, she was getting real curious, about legal. You know that camera.
I'm going to go from 10 wheels down to 2 and going to head south. It is getting a little chilly up here in Tennessee and Kentucky, so I'm going to head south, take a little trip down toward Mexico. I'll probably stop just this far inside there. Yeah, see if I can get going on the motorcycle, then
that limits what we can do.
They won't be able to do anything unless they find me.
Right. I think you need to be gone for a while.
Yeah, you need to get on that motorcycle.
Be careful out there, but just be. You can check in every now and then. Not the office.
But as long as we're not all here, then they can't. There's no point in them really asking us to do anything major. So
hard to do interviews in a Mexican jail, ain't it?
Yeah. It's gonna take you a long vacation.
That's where you say you're at.
All right. The people are great. Thanks a lot. Good night. God bless y'all.
I'm pretty much a lone rider, and I'm really not a member of any club or anything like that. When you're in a car, you're seeing things like you're sitting and watching TV because you have the windshield all around you and you're not affected by the wind or by any of the sounds or the smells that are going by. On a bike, you become part of that environment. And so you become at mercy to the elements, which gives you kind of a whole new lease on life and your belief in God and things like that, because you really realize how small and fragile you are in that situation.
Although I was raised in the southeastern United States, I've had an opportunity to come to the desert, and I became very attached to it because there's so many different kinds of terrain. Like in the southern part of Arizona, you see the saguaro cactuses. When you first see those, you feel like you're on another planet or something. They just don't look earthly, they look strange. And the whole southern Arizona atmosphere is that way. But at the same time, you can go up on top of a particular mountain and there'll be 100-foot pine trees up there. And then you can move on up toward northern Arizona, central to northern Arizona, and then the terrain changes completely again. All of a sudden you can see big, huge red rock formations with big holes in the center of them, and it's just the most astounding, breathtaking. I love the desert. We were on the road a good solid 2 years. So I really just wanted to get on the bike, stop when I wanted to stop, stay where I wanted to stay, make my own arrangements, do my own thing, not have to answer to anyone.